Hello, everybody. So, Daredevil Born Again just wrapped up last week, and I'm currently writing a script for my upcoming video, which is my thoughts and opinions, as well as just my overview and review of Daredevil Born Again. And, I know Season 2 is already confirmed for next year in March, and that can't come any sooner. I can't tell if I honestly can't decide for myself if I am fortunate or unfortunate enough to have already seen the leaks as well as a suit that he will be wearing. I say, in my opinion, I'm pretty fortunate, but at the same time unfortunate because I don't get that satisfaction of being like, oh. But anyways, I also wanted to release these little tidbit videos, these kind of like little mini videos where I just kind of talk about the show in a more comedic manner rather than a serious, stern tone. And that being said, where the fuck is Spider-Man? Spoiler warning for Daredevil Born Again. So, at the end of the show, it is revealed that Mayor Fisk, Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, in the midst of all the tomfoolery and fuckery that is going on in New York City, he decides to put New York City
under martial law
and ban any vigilante kind of activity. And you see through the BB report, you see chaos and rioting and just pain. You can feel it. It's like 4D. You feel the fucking pain, you can feel the citizens getting fucked over by Fisk. You can just feel it, And through all that, all I can think is this needs to take place before Spider-Man 4. Because if it is taking place during, no, matter of fact, even still, I feel like Spider-Man should be doing something. And that is the same question I've seen a lot of other people talking about, where is Spider-Man? And on one hand, I do understand that, but on the other hand, it's like New York City is a very big city. So I do feel like if we don't see him doing it right now, he is probably out there saving people. But I do believe that for this story to work, Spider-Man 4 needs to take place before the events of Daredevil. Or if it doesn't, then we can start off Spider-Man 4, with kind of a scene, like setting a darker tone for, the MCU, because it's not looking bright right now. So we could maybe have, it open up with him fighting off some of the anti-vigilante task force. Because this is a very great plot line that they have opened up. And although I do really want to see it work, I do understand that there are, of course, multiversal threats, upcoming. And so this plotline might seem minuscule compared to those. But I just really need to see it touched upon on at least Spider-Man, because I need those kind of grounded tones. I think we as an audience, we crave those kind of grounded elements for these superheroes, I can't be the only one that's tired of the multiverse and all that. And of course I know there's, right issues between Sony and Disney, but that's for Spider-Man. You can use Daredevil in Spider-Man, the same way you used the other two Spider-Man actors in that. And you already had Daredevil, you had, of course it was Daredevil was Matt Murdock, but you had him in No Way Home. You can use him again. I really would appreciate if they utilized more characters. And because here's the thing, I completely I forgot to mention it, but I believe from the information I've gathered, Sony and Disney, they have this deal where it's like you can have a Spider-Man movie, but you have to have I believe a Disney-owned character in it. So in Homecoming you had, of course, Iron Man, and Far From Home you had Nick Fury, and then No Way Home you had Doctor Strange. And now that Daredevil is a part of the MCU, you can use him, he is a part of Disney, he is a part of the MCU. So I do think that would be right on the money. And if they don't use it, I will be disappointed, but I still have strong hopes for Daredevil. Or, sorry, not Daredevil, for Spider-Man 4. I do have strong hopes for Daredevil Season 2, though. I do think, in my opinion, it is looking like it's coming up to be the best season in Daredevil, which is a very strong competition, considering, from what I've gathered, apparently a majority of people say that the worst season was Season 2, and even still, Season 2 was very great. To have your worst season also be a very good season is incredible. Another thing that I could see happening, and of course it is just a theory, and it's probably a theory that won't happen, specifically because, I know Disney and I know Sony. I know they won't, as much as they try, I know they won't, but if there's a chance, even just like a flicker of hope, I do hope Spider-Man 4, its title is Brand New Day. And I hope if it plays off of that title, metaphorically and literally, if it plays off of that title, we could see the events of Daredevil transpire into, kind of bleed into Spider-Man 4, and eventually, we begin this story where it's like kind of Daredevil and Spider-Man, they work together. Even if they don't work together, we see like a small interaction between them, and then, there's of course other threats happening, or maybe like the criminals, they can use that as an opportunity, to wreak even more havoc, and Spider-Man's kind of just trying to stop them. And then, he runs into Daredevil, they have an interaction, and, I just think that would be good. And then ultimately the movie would end with the lifting of, the vigilante task force and the martial law being lifted. I think that would be a very, very good idea, because it would be symbolic to the story, but also the title. It's a brand new day. And I know it is playing off of the comics, but again, Daredevil Born Again didn't, it didn't really follow the Born Again comics. It took little kind of things from it, but it didn't ultimately build off, the same way Invincible builds off of their comics, frame by frame, panel by panel. Of course they changed it up, and I do appreciate it. I do wish they utilized Muse more, but in my opinion, I don't think Muse is done. It's a little crazy. Throw me in a mental asylum if you want. At the end of, was it the last episode, Fisk had this kind of blood thing on him. He had that Matt's blood kind of on his suit, and it looked the exact same way that Muse had his. And I don't know. I just kind of believe that they might actually use Muse's abilities, but they might, kind of switch him up a little bit. Maybe he maybe when he died, because I could be tripping, but I do believe they shot him in the chest. I do believe maybe it kind of just phased through, or if it didn't phase through, because of course we saw the body, but I don't know. I have this crazy idea that what if, he kind of lives through the blood, and then he'll gradually I don't know, just he'll eventually come back to a physical form. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I just want more Muse. Maybe I can't accept the fact he's gone. He was a really good character. I really liked the suit. But I just kind of wish they utilized him more. Even though he didn't, already in the comics, he didn't have that much, time in the comics. So I do see how, if this is it for him, then sure. I just wish they utilized him more. But, yeah. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit more. But, until we get the upcoming projects, me and you guys, we're just going to be asking the same fucking question that everyone in New York has right now.
Where is Spider-Man?